Zain, the mystery we're trying to unravel is how did a famous Pakistani journalist end up shot at by Kenyan police on a dirt road on the outskirts of Nairobi? And we're not any closer to learning why, because it's been 3 weeks since he was killed. And the explanations given by the Kenyan police do not make sense. They have raised more questions than answers, and we have spent some time looking into it. I went back to the scene of the crime. I went back to the place where Arshad Sharif spent his last day. And a warning here, this report contains some graphic video. Arshad Sharif was one of Pakistan's best-known investigative journalists and anchors. Then he fled.
Why he was forced to leave the country.
A vocal critic of the Pakistani military and ally of ousted Prime Minister Imran Khan, Sharif left Pakistan after he was charged with sedition for allegedly criticizing state institutions and, quote, abetting mutiny within the military. Though he first went to Dubai, CNN has confirmed that Arshad lived quietly in Kenya for about 2 months before his death.
He was saying that I'm hiding somewhere because I'm not feeling safe and they are going to assassinate me.
He specifically told you that he would get assassinated?
Yes, clearly.
Arshad's body was pulled out of this bullet-riddled SUV in the outskirts of the Kenyan capital on the night of 23rd October. His family believes he was murdered for his work. Media reports in Pakistan have aired various theories about the night he died.
They tortured him outside the car.
CNN has reviewed post-mortem reports from separate autopsies carried out in Kenya and Pakistan. Both reports concluded that Arshad died from multiple injuries after gunshots to the head and chest. Neither documented evidence of torture.
I miss his smile, his voice, his presence. He was a great man. I lost the gem.
This is where an elite unit of the Kenya police set up a roadblock on the night Arshad Sharif was killed. It was just stones blocking the way. What happened here is murky, and it is now the subject of an investigation by authorities in Kenya and Pakistan. The Kenya police say they chose to drive right past the roadblock. The driver of the car was not wounded. Kenyan police initially blamed Arshad's shooting death on mistaken identity. A follow-up report later claimed that the first shots came from his car, forcing the police to return fire. But Pakistan's Interior Minister claims it was a targeted killing. Kenya's Independent Policing Oversight Authority is now investigating the circumstances under which the officers shot.
We are not investigating the prior events of this incident or the prior movements and patterns of movements of these Pakistani journalists. Our mandate specifies that we only investigate the circumstances of the shooting.
Thousands attended Arshad's funeral in Islamabad. His death has become a hot-button issue, forcing Pakistani authorities to deny being behind his killing.
On the basis of the information and investigation I have, I can tell you that Matra Arshad Sharif had no threat to his life in Pakistan.
Pakistani investigators visited this shooting range outside Nairobi, where Arshad spent his last day. They also met with Kenyan police leadership, questioned officers involved in the case and Arshad's hosts, according to Kenyan police and a Pakistani investigator. But his family doesn't expect justice.
I have no faith in Pakistani government.
What will justice look like for you?
It's not possible to get justice in Pakistan and in Kenya. I know that. But I request all the international journalistic organizations and United Nations to investigate this killing.
Kenya's Independent Policing Oversight Authority has acknowledged to CNN that there are inconsistencies with the police statement here, but they say that's not unusual. When we spoke to them, they had interviewed about 15 witnesses, including 10 civilians and 5 officers. So we expect that a report will be out within the next week or so. Arshad's family tell us that he was battling more than a dozen police criminal cases that were lodged against him at the same time in different cities in Pakistan. That might explain why he felt that he needed to leave the country. We understand from our sources here in Kenya that he was here for about 2 months. He kept mostly to himself, rarely went out because he didn't feel safe. He didn't feel safe being seen in public until this one day when he went to this shooting range where he spent his last day, and then this incident happens. So one other mystery in this case, Zain, one police officer out of the 4 that were on the scene was shot and we found bloodstains on the scene. But how did he get shot, by whom? We just don't know.
Yeah, and so sad in terms of, you speaking with the family members who don't believe they're going to get justice either from Pakistani officials or from Kenyan officials, or answers rather. Larry Madowo, live for us there. Thank you so much.